Hello and welcome to Frank's Featured Topic. Today we're going to kick around some interleague play where this weekend and really for the next couple of weeks the AL and the NL clash in what we call interleague play, and lately the NL hasn't done too well against the AL and lost the season series most of the times. I'm not a fan of interleague play and I'm going to explain to you why. There are many matchups this weekend that I just have no interest in or are just bad. But there are a couple good ones. We start with the Subway Series, the Yankees and the Mets. Obviously, they play every year. They played in the World Series a couple years ago, or not a couple years ago, 2000. So that's a pretty good series. Both teams are pretty good this year, so that shouldn't be bad. And just the fact that their teams are so close, I guess it's pretty good. Next is the Red Sox and the Phillies. Another good one. We got the last two World Series champs playing, and one would figure would be a very good series. Probably three really good games. Then an intriguing series. The Dodgers and the Rangers. This is one I really like because you got the Dodgers, who are the best in the National League, and the Rangers, the offensive-powered Rangers, who came out of nowhere and surprised everyone in the AL West, especially the Angels, and have a good lead in AL West. So that's a pretty good series too. But those are the only three that I can see as good this weekend at least. Then we come over to the ones that I have no interest in. And the first one is the Marlins at the Blue Jays. Both of these teams started off pretty hot. The Marlins were 11-1. The Blue Jays had the best record in the MLB for a little bit. But both have fallen off and are in the middle of their division, and it's not looking like, I don't know if Toronto or Florida is going to be there at the end of the season in the playoff hunt. Moving on to the White Sox and the Brewers. White Sox have been underachieving this year, below 500 in a division that's really not playing that well at all. You got Detroit leads the AL Central, and then you have the Brewers, who have been playing pretty well this season, and probably should take that series at least 2 out of 3, and perhaps maybe even sweep it. They're playing in Milwaukee. The Brewers are first in the NL Central, so they should probably take the series. I don't expect it to be that close at all, like these three we have here. So I don't see why I would have any interest in those two teams going at it this weekend. Then we move on to the Twins and the Cubs. The Twins are another team that was right there last year, and they won the one tie-breaking game against the White Sox. They would have been there in the postseason. They didn't, and this year they're not playing as well. And the Cubs are behind the Brewers for NL Central in a division where last year they won 100 games, and this year maybe they're not playing bad, or Milwaukee's a little bit of a surprise. We'll just have to see. But again, these are two teams that, when they play well, can be really good. But right now, I don't see what gets me jumping about the Twins and the Cubs. And then lastly, we have the A's and the Giants. Yes, they're both playing in California, and a lot of people like to call it the Battle of the Bay. But I just don't see what interest I would have in the series. I mean, you got the A's, who haven't been that good the last couple of years, and the Giants, who have been horrible the last couple of years as well, and just are now making their move to perhaps be there in September and make the playoffs. Last couple of years, though, they've been at the bottom of the NL West, and this year they're in second, but many games behind the LA Dodgers. And now we come over to the bad series. As you can see, there's a lot of bad series, and it doesn't really compare to the good ones, or even the ones I don't have much interest in. We're going to start with the Cincinnati Reds visiting the Kansas City Royals this weekend. This is just something that, the Reds and the Royals were two teams that actually a lot of people had high expectations about this year. But, like the Marlins and the Blue Jays, have fallen off, and the Royals are below 500, and the Reds are in the middle of the division, hovering around 500. So this is just not a good matchup whatsoever. I mean, I don't see what gets me excited about the Reds and the Royals. I mean, I'm more excited about the Marlins and Blue Jays than I would be the Reds and the Royals, but I'm not excited about either one of you, to tell you the truth. Then we come to the Braves and the Orioles. both of these teams have been below 500 for most of the year, or well, most of the previous years. Orioles have been at the bottom of the AL East, and the Braves have been, right there behind Washington for the worst record in the NL East. So this has just, it just doesn't seem to be that good. I mean, you got two teams that aren't that good playing this weekend when, you could have better matchups than this. I mean, that's not what I want to see as a baseball fan. And then we're getting worse here with the Nationals and the Rays. The Nationals have just been crap for as long as they've been a franchise, really. And the Rays have been underachieving this year a lot. AL champs last year, lost to the Phillies in 5 games in the World Series. But this year, they were right around 500, and it's not looking too good considering how Boston and New York are playing in the AL East. Don't know if they'll be able to come back and make the playoffs. And the Nationals are the Nationals. So that is a horrible series there. Now we have the Tigers and the Pirates. The Pirates have had losing records for God knows how long. And the Tigers, I understand that they are in the first in the AL Central, but the AL Central is most likely the worst division in baseball. If you look at it, not many of those teams are over 500. So this is just that bad series written all over it. I mean, you got the Detroit Tigers going to Pittsburgh. I don't see what's good about that at all, and I don't see why I would have any interest in it whatsoever. I don't. I really don't care what happens in this series, and that's why I think it's pretty bad. Then we have the Seattle Mariners visiting the Colorado Rockies. Another battle of two losing teams. The Mariners have not been that good. Actually, they were so bad that they had the second pick behind Washington in the draft this year. And the Rockies are not playing that well either this year. They had their year in 2007 when they went to the World Series and got swept by Boston. But last year was not a good year for them, and this year isn't turning out to be a good year for them either. And Seattle got off to a nice start, but like most of these teams have fallen off. The Cardinals and the Indians. The Indians, another team that's underachieving. I mean, they came into the season with lots of talent. It took them a week to finally win a game. They're in last in the AL Central. And yes, the Cardinals are, hovering around 500 as well. But nothing gets me excited about this. I just don't see what's good. I mean, a last place team versus like a middle of the division team, I can't get excited for that. I mean, these are just bad matchups, and we're going to close with the Padres and the Angels. The Angels are another team that's underachieving this year. I understand that they don't have Francisco Rodriguez to close games out for them, but they went out and got Brian Fuentes, so they made a move. But it's not showing up. They're still about 5 or 6 games behind the Rangers for first place, and the Padres are below 500 again after having a horrible season last year. So another bad matchup there to go with all the other ones. So you might ask me, now, what should Major League Baseball do if they're not, because this doesn't do it for me. So what should they do? Well, what I think they should do is either add more divisional games or add some games between two teams in the same league but out of the division. For example, I would much rather see the Phillies and the Mets or the Red Sox and the Yankees 3 more times than I'd rather see the Reds and the Royals. I would much rather see, or even out of the division. Look, we had the Phillies and the Dodgers for a 4-game series last week. And they have seen a lot of each other lately. I mean, the NLCS last year, they've played their 7 games between each other this year. So that's another good, I'd love to see some more Phillies-Dodgers. And another rivalry, well, not rivalry, but good matchup outside of the division is the Rangers and the Red Sox last week we saw. Rangers went up to Beantown, took 2 out of 3 against the mighty Red Sox. And then, of course, we have another rivalry, the Dodgers and the Giants. So as you can see, this league is filled with good matchups, but you don't see that many of them in interleague play. So I believe that interleague play must go. I'd like to welcome you to the 9th inning. A little shorter this week. Just gonna, we covered a lot. Went over some tennis, some Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL. Over the weekend, tonight you can see Game 7 on NBC, Red Wings Penguins. The rest of the NBA Finals can be seen on ABC. And so our next show will be Wednesday, June the 17th. So I'd like to thank my cameraman Tom for being the beast that he is. He did a great job today. I'm Greg Frank, and out!